Welcome back guys to my channel. Today we are reviewing Foundations of Rome by Arcane Wonders. This is a game for 1 to 4 players which was build the city of Rome. The game is played over 3 eras or rounds. Players will take turns buying cards from the deed deck to get land. They can place buildings down to the board to grow the city of Rome. They can also collect income by getting 5 coins plus extra coins for each coin symbol and buildings they control. The round is played until the deed deck is empty, in which case you have an end round scoring system. And then you have 3 rounds of this for the end game scoring system is in play. So this review is for the basic Senator Pledge version of the game, which is just the 1 to 4 player version of the game. Covers all the trays and bits and goodies as well, but I don't get the 5th player tray or the expansion, monument expansion and stuff. And I'm also going to talk about the Garden of Ceres expansion too, the solo mode. So before I begin my review, let's do a brief overview of the gameplay of Foundations of Rome. So here we have Foundations of Rome set up for a solo play against the Garden of Ceres solo expansion. So let's go over a few things first. So of course right here is our player tray in our glorious blue colour. We have all our buildings here, the symbols on top. We have our civic buildings, residential buildings and commercial buildings, and our lot markers along here. I also like how underneath those buildings here too as a little reminder what they actually are. On the board you can see there, it says 3. Over to the left we have our school marker. Up here is our victory point tracker. And just below is our population point tracker, as you can see there. Population at the bottom and the victory at the top. One thing I'll mention about these little things on top don't come pre-attached, you have to do that yourself, so be careful of that and don't get them wrong because they're a pain to take off and change over, so watch out for that. Up here we have the deed board up here. This is the deeds for sale, sort of the marketplace. So we're going to buy deeds for our land. So the deeds will cost a certain amount up here. When you buy one, take it off, place your marker down on the deed. So if I brought E2 here, I put a marker on E2 over down the board, slide them all down. When this deck is empty, and the last D card is brought from this set, the end of the era is triggered. There's a little scoring guide down there to help you out as well, and the next round begins. So the board over here, we have 2 sides. We have the 1 to 2 player side and the 3 to 4 player side. The 3 to 4 player side is exactly the same, has more of a grid. We have slave spaces A to H going down to 8. We have our Garden of Ceres back with our tiles inside, our starring currency. Now we start the game with 6 D cards dealt to us, and we place our lot marker on all of these D cards that match that pile there. So I've got lot markers over here, here, and down here. The solo player starts off with 6 D cards, and you draw 3 and place 3 random tiles across the board. They don't use buildings; they use tiles instead. And their tiles mean certain things. So this one here will increase population, and obviously the higher population and the round you get a higher score bonus. This one here will increase their amount they bribe by. So when they bribe, they put coins on the D cards. And the more coin symbols they have out on their tiles, the more coins they'll place and the more cost it's going to be for these D cards for us to get. And this down here gives them scoring bonus points for adjacent buildings, so be careful down there. And we also have the Garden of Ceres solo cards down here and 4 face-up cards on there. So a typical turn in Foundations of Rome is you have 3 actions. You have buy a D card, place a building, or collect income. So buy a D card, we'll do that first. So I start with 5 coins, let's buy a D card. So I'm going to look where I am on the board. So if I had F1 or B3, B3 is good, that's where I am there. So I think getting B3 would be a good idea. So I'm going to spend the money, it costs me 3. So I'll pay 3 over here, I collect B3. Once I've got B3, I put it in my collected D cards, take a lot marker and place it down on B3, claim that land for my own. Now, if you haven't got any lot markers, you can't buy D cards. So I'm going to move the D cards down. So that's my turn over onto the Garden of Ceres turn now. So what they're going to do is, first of all, they're going to draw the top card of their solo deck. We ignore the card, we just want to look at the number 2. Cards 1 to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So number 2 means we're going to resolve card number 2. To resolve this card, we'll just put it to the side, slide these down and put a new one along there. This is a claim deed card. So Ceres has 3 types of cards: claim deed, bribe, and large park. I'll show you them all in a second. So claim deed here, you see, the priority is D, F, and B. So first of all, we go from left to right. Any cards of D we take. We go E, B, F, G. Nope, no Ds. Any Fs, there's an F there. They claim the F card. So place the resolve card under their deck. Place this in their lot of cards. And place a lot marker on F7 down there. Ooh, close to me. So that's their turn done. So push this down. So back to me now. We'll use a different action this time. We'll use the place building action. So I can place a 1-size building along here, or I could place a 2-size building down here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to place one of these building tokens down here. Pick it up, and place it on there. Black markers return back to you, so you can expand more out later on in the game. If you see down there, I've got a symbol there, so I know that building has 1 coin, and also a victory point symbol in the round that's going to help me out too. So on to series turns now. So I'm not going to draw a card, I'm just going to do different actions so you can see the actions do. So we're going to do the bribe action, as if I just drew it. So I'm going to play bribe. What happens is, series will place 1 coin, plus 1 more for each coin symbol showing, so 1 there, so 2 coins in total. Start from the left and go along, so 1 on there, 1 on there. So now those cheap cards are going to cost me more. Back to my turn now, I'll do the last action you can take, I'll do the income action. So we always take 5 coins, plus a bonus. So we take 5 coins, plus coins we have showing. So we have 1 coin symbol showing, so all in all, we take 6 coins at our supply. And the last action for series is enlarge the park. So do this 3 times. What they do is, they have a certain priority order, like Biggie's Park, away from my buildings and stuff. They've only got 1 lot marker, so they'll enlarge it once. So what they do is, they take the lot marker off, shuffle their bag, and they place a tile down. Oh, they've got more coins there now, you can see. It's a double coin symbol. On regular mode it means nothing, but on the hard mode it's extra coins for them. Because they couldn't, it's supposed to do this 3 times, but for every time they can't, they increase their victory points by 1. So they're going to be on 2 victory points. Different buildings mean different things. So these ones down here give you more currency, give you more income. The more these have out, the more you're going to collect income. These ones over here, with a little person symbol on, are classed as residential buildings. When you place them down, so if I place that one with 4 on, and increase the population by 4, and go up to 4. Also, the more I have down, the more it goes up. If I do take any off, though, it goes down. So, end of the round, if I was going to say 10 population down there, as well as VP from the other scoring methods, I also gain 10 VP off this, so I brought my score by 10. And then also you get a bonus being a lead. If in the first round you get 4 points, second you get 7, last you get 10. And how this works is, the player, as long as one person's got points on the track, players behind me on the track, the second player plays will gain points for what I gain, so they gain 10 points, and so forth and so forth. Just a nice little way for players who are behind in the scoring to get more points. So we discussed the commercial buildings, residential buildings. What about these ones up here, the civic buildings? So these all give you score at the end of the round. So different symbols mean different things depending on what they're adjacent to. So for instance, so this one down here tells me I'm going to get an extra VP end of the round for each adjacent residential building. Doesn't matter who they are, if they're mine or whatever, it doesn't make a difference. So if this was here, and I had, say, that there, and that there, it'll gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points end of round. This one is kind of similar, but for commercial buildings. So if it was there, it gained 2 points per showing coin symbol, so 2 off that one. This one gains 3 VP per civic building, so more of these around it. And these ones give you VP for any building of any type adjacent to that unit. So it's all about learning what the units are. There's 3 types of building: commercial, residential, and civic. Knowing what they are gives more VP. To explain how end of era score works. So first of all, you gain money equal to the number of coin symbols showing. So I gain 1. You gain VP for any symbol shown on your coin track on your player board down here. So this big one down here you can see has a 5 VP symbol down there. You gain points for civic buildings, so the adjacent buildings up here, like the one I did earlier, the example, and also the population marker build score as well. This is repeated 3 times before the final endgame scoring triggers, in which case the highest score wins. So, Foundations of Rome, what do I like, what don't I like, what are the pros and cons? Let's discuss what I like first. So first of all, the look of the game. The game just looks amazing. I mean, it has such great tale presence. It's so epic, it just stands out. The player trays, the boards, the artwork on the boards is great. The miniatures are fantastic. I love using the miniatures. It just feels like actually building Rome. It feels very thematic. It feels very immersive. People just see this game from a distance and they're just drawn to it because it just looks so great. But one of my personal favourite things about this game is the way it's packaged and the way the inserts work. So each player has their own player tray. The tray has spots for all your buildings and your lot markers. But aside from being a great organiser, it also is helpful too. It tells you on the tray underneath the buildings what they actually are, the building name, any VP points you're going to get, and also what the symbol was. So if you had a building out and you're thinking what's that building going to be, it has that symbol there. So for instance, when you want to use the collect income action, when you want to see how much money you're going to gain, you're getting 5 coins plus 1 for each coin symbol showing. Rather than looking across the board and checking out all your coloured symbols, you can just look down at your player tray and go, oh, I've got 2, 3, I've got 4 coins off there as well. Very well designed. Very, very good design choice there. Also, the community tray with like the money, the cards, the player markers is great too. Holds everything in place. Everything, all the boards and instruction booklets all fit in just nicely. There's even spare slots in there too for extra cards and packs. Like I can fit my Garden of Series expansion straight into there, nice and easily. There's also space top of the game for expansions like the monuments and the 5th player tray. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that actually having a big box for a game like this that helps you keep everything in place. It's really, really handy. And this makes setup time for the game super fast. This game sets up in about 5 minutes, maybe less. It's so quick. Because of the trays and how it's all organised, there isn't that many components either really. There's just like coins and a few D cards. And you can add in the extra objective modules and stuff and little bits here and there, but for the basic core game, it sets up and plays really quickly. The gameplay too. What this game is, it's kind of like a gateway game. It doesn't feel like a big, complex game. And for me, that's great. That works just well. I mean, because players who want to play something a bit more advanced might get a bit put off by this ginormous box over here, but the actions are all really simple. Buy a D card is simple. Just look at the card, check the cost, buy it, put it in a discard pile and place one of your luck markers on the board. Super simple. Place a building down. If you've got a luck marker, put it down. If you want to replace a building, as long as it's bigger, that's fine, you put it down as well. And so the buildings, it's just easy to understand. And then also the collect income action is simple. You just gain 5 coins plus 1 for each one you're showing. So however the simple the game may be, getting a high score is going to be quite hard. You're getting a lot of strategy. It's going to require a lot of thinking and thought about getting the deeds and the plots and what you need to get out there. Do you want to get that deed there? Do you want to go for a high coin early on and get income early on? That's great, you got a lot of money. But the thing is that you're going to score nothing at the end of the round. Do you want to get population early on and get a high population score early? That's good, but you're going to struggle for income. You can't expand faster. Where you're going to put your top buildings to get extra points, you're going to put them there adjacent to your buildings, or if someone goes there first, or if someone puts a building down there first, gets more points. There's a lot of thinking there back and forth in the game. So I do really appreciate the sort of balance of a gateway game, where it has a lot more to it as well, a lot more depth in the game. It's just nice to have a big, epic, building Rome kind of game like this that's not too hard, that you can get players in who aren't too familiar with games or don't really want to play something so advanced. They can just jump in. The game sets up fast and plays fast, and the rulebook is great. It's written really well, lots of examples, lots of clear diagrams and pictures and iconography. It's very simple, easy to digest and take in. The game plays relatively quickly, it's not too long. Even for a 4-player game, this game doesn't take too long because the turns go so fast. You probably get this game done in maybe an hour and a half, and on the player counts. So it's not such a long game. It's a game you can just whip out quite quickly and just play. Even though it's such a big game, it just takes quite a bit of space on the table. It plays fast. It has to have a game like that. A game that's so big and epic in scope and scale, but doesn't really require a lot of deep thought and learning and reading and understanding the rules. It's a bit off-putting for certain players. The game is also heavily strategy focused. There's a bit of luck in the D cards, of course, but planning out where your move is and where you're going to go next, outthinking your opponents and placing buildings in the right spots can get you the most points. So there's a lot of strategy there. It isn't one of those big games that's based heavily on luck, which a lot of gateway games can be, the dice rolls and cards and stuff. The game does feel a bit thematic as well because you are building Rome together. I mean, you are trying to get a high score, there's only going to be one winner, but you are all collectively building Rome. This city is going to grow as you play, it's going to get bigger and expand more as you play. When you finish, it's going to look great. You're going to look back and see your city you built and look how epic it looks. All the buildings and the boards are going to look so cool. So those are the pros for this game. What about the negatives about this game? What are the negatives? So the big one, the big elephant in the room, well, there's two. One is the price. The other is the size of this game. This game is very, very, very expensive, and it's huge. I mean, look at the size of this compared to the games around it. It's just like, I mean, Death May Die is a big box, and Arnak, it's just such a big, clunky box. It's going to make getting it to the table not hard for you. If you want to take it to a friend's house or move it around, it's going to be quite hard. I mean, if it's just sat on your shelf in your own room, that's great, but take it out somewhere, you don't want to. And push it, because it's quite expensive too, you don't want to risk damaging the game either. And obviously the price. The game is quite hefty on the price. I mean, don't get it wrong, you get good quality components, and the game looks great, and you are getting your money's worth this game, don't get it wrong. But it's off-putting because the game is appealing to people who aren't really heavy gamers because of the gameplay and how simple it is. But at the same time, people who aren't heavy gamers aren't going to buy this because it's so expensive. It's a hard sell because the game is so expensive, but it is quite a good gateway game too. I mean, people who don't really play games much aren't going to buy this game because it's so expensive. They don't want to take a risk on a game like this. I mean, obviously hardcore gamers or people play games quite a lot don't mind so much. I mean, I did mind a little bit, but you know, they're going to want to play something like Horrified or Everdell or Mysterium or Meadow or something. You know, something a bit it's simple. I mean, this game's probably simple in those, but they're not going to want to play this game. They're going to play it, but they're not going to want to buy it. So that's the problem here. They're not going to want to buy this game. So it's a game that I wish people would play. It could sell loads, but it's just such a hefty cost. I really hope they do release a more sort of tile-based version in the future. I mean, just take away the charm a little bit of the game, but the gameplay is fun anyway. So if you do a tile-based version for, say, even half the price of this, easy sell. Other negatives too is I found the trays to be a bit flimsy. Not the trays themselves, but the little plastic bit on top, the sort of clear bit that goes over, that can snap a little bit and break, so be careful of that. So that's one problem I found, it's a bit flimsy in that department. The other little negative I can think of is people might find this game a bit too simple. I mean, don't get me wrong, the modules and extra content you can get for this game will make it a lot bigger, and I've heard it does get more in depth the more content you put into it. But some people might get a bit put off by the simplicity of the game, and especially when it's such a price like this, they're going to think, oh, do I want to get this? And they think, oh, it's actually quite simple. It's just a basically tile-playing game, you know, but a bit bigger. They might not want it. For me, I don't mind that, but I think some people who want to put a hefty price to a game like this are going to be a little bit let down by the simplicity of the game in some aspects. So before my final summary, let's discuss briefly the Garden of Ceres solo expansion, which you saw in the overview of the game. This is a great little box, quite cheap. All stuff inside fits in the main game easily, because of tiles, cards, and a bag. I like this because you are playing just how you will play as a normal player. You're placing buildings, getting D cards, placing lot markers down, getting income. That gameplay isn't changed, which is what I do like. Ceres is quite challenging. They'll place their little garden tiles out quite fast. They'll steal D cards quite quickly. They'll place money on the D cards too, so you can't quite get them as easily. It's quite fun because it plays quick, it sets up fast. You have to use tiles instead, but it is quite unique. It's a new take on the formula, having a sort of, you know, someone try and design like a garden instead of nature overtaking the city. The gameplay is quite nice. It's not too hard, not too easy. It just plays at a sort of nice kind of level for the basic difficulty, and I do like how you can adjust that too. And it is nice they had this option to, you know, buy the game. It would have been nice to include the game itself because it's just a small thing, but it was quite cheap, so I didn't mind really getting this. It is game quite fun. You can practice on your own, getting good scores and stuff. But I did say though, you don't actually use the miniatures, so it isn't quite like a two-player game, or you know, it won't feel that way. And so on to the final verdict for Foundations of Rome, this epic behemoth of a game. So it's a very pricey, overproduced, ridiculous space taker of a game. But I love this game. It's so fun to play. Any player count. The modules are great too. Plays well solo. The trays and the insert, it sets up fast, it plays fast, it's smooth. It's good for new players, it's good for experienced players too. It's just a really accessible game, but it is quite a big game. It's quite intimidating because of its size and, of course, that hefty price. But overall, I give Foundations of Rome a good A-. Take off a little point there for the price and the size. I mean, obviously, you do get what you pay for here. The quality and the size is just part of the cost. But that's the problem with this game. You're not going to want to buy it because of the price. It's going to put you off a little bit. But if you like tile placement games, if you like games about building cities, if you like the idea of building Rome, if this game just looks good to you, if you like the idea of this game, go for it. Just try and get this game. There is a reprint right now going around on Kickstarter. I reprinted the campaign. You can get that right now for a good price. I'll go for that now where you can. The shipping's a bit lower. But you can order direct from Arcane Wonders. But that is it for this review. I will post a playthrough of the game solo soon for you to watch so you can see how the game plays fully and how much I score. Any comments or questions about this game or any of the stuff you've seen in this video, comment down below and like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.